She had brought with her into the human world. What she had brought? The proud and conscious whiteness and the bliss she had brought with her. She had brought with her into the human world the calm delight that weds one soul to all. The key to the flaming doors of ecstasy. This is the key to the flaming doors of ecstasy. When the soul opens out to other soul, it weds all the souls. The calm delight that weds one soul to all, the key to the flaming doors of ecstasy. Earth's grain that needs the sap of pleasure and tears, rejected the undying rapture's boon. Rejected the undying rapture's boon. Offered to the daughter of infinity, her passion flower of love and doom she gave. In vain now seemed the splendid sacrifice. A prodigal of a rich divinity, herself and all she was, she had lent to men. Hoping her greater being to implant, and in their body leaves acclimatized, that heaven might need to grow on mortal soil. She wanted to transplant her own bliss to you. Hard is it to persuade earth nature's change. Mortality bears ill the eternal's touch. You are mortal, but the eternal wants to touch. But you bear ill. Mortality bears ill the eternal's touch. It fears the pure divine intolerance. It fears the pure divine intolerance of that assault of ether and of fire. It murmurs at its sorrowless happiness. It murmurs at its own sorrowless happiness. Almost with hate, repels the light it brings. The Lord has told in Psalm. A fire has come and touched men's hearts and gone. A few have caught flame and risen to greater life. The fortunate few had that sincerity and surrender. The Lord is telling you in so clear terms. You have to take it. You have to come. You have to take a pledge. The mother's birthday is coming nearer. Let us take. Oh, this is a point of progress. Every year, year after year, we have to progress. Overcoming invisible heads and mass defense, and the loneliness that separates soul from soul, the loneliness that separates soul from soul. She wished to make all one immense embrace. Mother wants to make one immense embrace, that she might house in it all living things. Rise to a splendid point of seeing light. She wants to embrace and take you to the seeing light. Rise to a splendid point of seeing light, out of divisions dense, inconscient cleft, and make them one with God and world and her. Only a few responded to her call. Only a few responded to her call. Still fewer felt the screen divinity, and strove to make its guarded with their own. Approaching with some kinship to her heights, uplifted towards luminous secrecies, are conscious of some splendor hidden above. They leap to find her in a moment's flash. In a moment's flash they want. They don't have the patience also. They leap to find her in the moment's flash. Glimpsing the light in a celestial vast. In a celestial vast, they want to glimpse the light. but could not keep the vision and the power, and fell back to live dull, ordinary too. You cannot keep the right but too long. You are not accustomed. Fell back to live dull, ordinary too. A mind daring heavenly experiment, growing towards some largeness they felt near, testing the unknowns bound with eager touch. They still were present in the human grave. Still were present in the human grave. The dead weight will pull you. They could not keep up with her tireless step. A friend, and yet too great wholly to know. She walked in their front towards a greater light. She is the leader, quality of the leader. She walked in their front towards a greater light. Their leader and queen over their hearts and souls. One close to their bosoms, yet divine and far. Even though she is close, she maintains her stature of divinity. One close to their bosoms, yet divine and far. That is the mother. She follows him. She is the leader and queen. Forced to be the satellites of her son. They moved unable to forego her light. In spite of that, she is calling to it. They cannot be without her. Some call is there inherent within them. Yet forced to be the satellites of her son. She is the sun. We are all the satellites. Attracted to her. She is the magnet of her difficult ascent. Has to go. Yet forced to be the satellites of her son. They moved unable to forego her light. Desiring, they clutched at her with outstretched hands, or followed her, stumbling in the path she made. She made a path. While following, you stumble, still you follow her. Or followed, stumbling in the path she made. See what a beautiful poetry, Lord. It is a music. For me, Savitri is not poetry, it's a music. Then Lord tells in very strong terms what you are. What are you doing? Wake up, man. It's time for you to wake up. Very strong words he says. I don't think anywhere he has so strongly. This passage from Savitri. Oh, force compelled, fate-driven earth-born race. Oh, petty adventurers in an infinite world, and prisoners of a dwarf humanity. How long will you tread the circling tracks of mind around your little self and petty things? But not for changeless littleness were you made. Not for vain repetition were you made. Out of the immortal substance you were made. Your actions can be swift, revealing steps. Your life, a changeful mold for growing gods. Possibility is there with you. Your life, a changeful mold for growing gods. A seer, a strong creator is within you. The immaculate grandeur broods upon your days. Almighty powers are shut in nature's sense. A greater destiny waits you on your front. This transient earthly being, if he wills, he should will, man, otherwise nothing can happen. You should will, consent should come from you. This transient being, this transient earthly being, if he wills, can fit his acts to a transcendent scheme. Can fit his act to a transcendent scheme. He who knows stares at the world with ignorant eyes. Hardly from the inconscient's night aroused, that look at images and not at truth, can fill those orbs, or spring sphere, can fill those orbs with an immortal society. Can fill those orbs with an immortal society. Yet, he gives hope. Don't be depressed. He can do it. Yet, shall the guarded grow within your hearts. You shall awake into the spirit's air and feel the breaking walls of mortal mind. The walls will go away, crumble, no limitation. And feel the breaking walls of mortal mind. And hear the messages that left lives are dumb. And look through nature with sun-gazing lids. Sun-gazing lids. And blow your counsels on the eternal scale. You can blow the counsels at the eternal scale. You have that capability. Authors of earth's high change, to you it is given. To cross the dangerous spaces of the soul. See, while finding the truth, you may find difficulty. The truth of your own being, the soul. But you have to perceive it, so that you can win in sadhana. For some people it may be dangerous, but still you have to cross. To cross the dangerous spaces of the soul, and touch the mighty mother stark awake, and meet the omnipotent in his house of flesh, and make of life the million-bodied one. Make of life the million-bodied one. So many ways, so many diversity, but still it is one. The earth you tread is a border screened from heaven. Heaven is behind you. The earth you tread is a border screened from heaven. The life you lead conceals the light you are. Conceals the light you are. Mortal powers speak, flaming past your doors. Immortal powers speak, flaming past your doors. Far off upon your tops, the God chant sounds. While to exceed yourselves, thoughts trumpets call. Heard by a few, but fear dare aspire. The influence of the ecstasy and the blaze. For a few it is given. Can I not become one of those few? And then Sri Aurobindo tells very clearly in vivid terms in this prose forum, probably in answer to a question regarding the mother's love. Mother has got that mandate. In spite of all your drawbacks, she loves you. That is a divine quality of not a human love, yet some reciprocation. Like a spring of the water, it always flows towards, it doesn't crave back that water. You are the mother's child, and the mother's love to her children is without limit. You are the mother's child, and the mother's love to her children is without limit. And she bears patiently with the defects of their nature. She bears patiently the defects of their nature. Try to be the true child of the mother. It is there within you, but your mind is occupied by little futile things, and too often in a violent fuss over them. You must learn to see and feel her with you and within you at all times, then you will find it easier to control yourself and change. For she being there would be able to do it for you. Is the Lord has told. She would have been those words. In very simple terms, she is telling what the mother is helping. Don't you think it is a boon for us? She is waiting for us. And then I would like to read a very prayers and meditations. It's a mother and she was aspiring when she was doing the sadhana like we are doing it. In her diary, she explains a particular passage in the prayers and meditations. I would like to read it because it has been appealed to me because I wanted to share it with you. November 17th, 1914. Alas, sublime mother, how great must be thy patience. Each time thy conscious will attempts to manifest itself in order to rectify errors, to hasten the uncertain progress of the individual, led astray by his own illusion and knowledge, to take the sure path and give him the strength to walk steadily upon it without stumbling. Almost always he pushes thee away as a tiresome and short-sighted advisor. What is happening? Almost always who pushes thee away as a tiresome and short-sighted advisor. He is willing to love. He is willing to love thee in theory with a vague and inconsistent love. But his proud mind refuses to confide in thee and prefers to wander all by itself rather than advance guided by thee. And thou replayest, ever smiling in the unvarying benevolence. This intellectual faculty which makes man proud and leads him into error is the very same which, once enlightened and purified, can also lead him further, higher than universal nature, to a direct and conscious communion with our Lord, with that which is beyond all manifestation. When the mind is properly trained, it is possible to go beyond all manifestation. This dividing intellect, which makes him stand apart from me, also enables him to scale rapidly the heights he must climb, without letting his progress be enchained and delayed by the totality of the universe, which in its immensity and complexity cannot effect so swift a change or an ascent. He can climb in spite of these difficulties, without letting his progress enchained. When the mind is properly guided, it can climb up. Then divine stops answering. Now the divine mother again aspires. O divine mother, always thy word comforts and blesses, calms and illumines, and thy generous hand lifts a hold of the veil hiding the infinite knowledge. You are capable of removing that veil from me. How calm, noble, and pure is the splendor of thy perfect contemplation. That's why you have to contemplate on the mother. These are the qualities you will get. How calm, noble, and pure is the splendor of thy perfect contemplation. beautifully mother aspires. That is how we have to do this sadhana. When mother was doing this sadhana, it is our diary. One page I have written it. This praise and meditation is full of such anecdotes. Beautiful passage. Now, before coming to a close, just only a small passage. How does the mother assist you? In what way she is guiding you? Does she assist you through all your ordinary state of ignorance and preoccupations? Mr. K.D. Setna or Amal Kiran, a close associate of Sri Aurobindo, writes thus. She gives an example how the mother was working in the ashram. So it gives an idea of her force in the practical terms. The mother took care of the inner development of the sadhakas, and always her watchword was progress and perfection of the external man. Every member was assigned a physical work to be done in the spirit of service to the divine. We have to do whatever we do, whatever you read, whatever you feel, it should be a service to the divine. Every member has assigned a physical work to be done in the spirit of service to the divine. This is the activity in the ashram. You will know it is going on. That was the way she gave the ideal of not rejection of life, but a life of self-offering, inclusive of all its activities to the divine. Don't reject life, but a life of self-offering, inclusive of all its activities to the divine. All its activities. It becomes habituated to us. A truly exceptional aspect of this experiment was that men and women were given the same status and opportunity. Same status. Whether you play, sing, drama, same thing. Men and women play together. They got one of the biggest stadiums, athletic tracks and everything. It's a must. No distinction. Then, in the book of the Mother, Sri Aurobindo tells, if you want to desire this transformation, what you have to do? If you desire this transformation, put yourself in the hands of the Mother and her powers without cavil or resistance, and let her do unhindered her work within you. Three things you must have. Three things. Consciousness. You should be conscious of it. Consciousness. That means your manas has to develop through the presence of the Mother. Consciousness. Plasticity. Rigidity has to go. Accept whatever transformation is being occurred to you. Plasticity. Unreserved surrender. Last is surrender. Up. Consciousness, plasticity, unreserved surrender. For you must be conscious in your mind and soul and heart and life and the very cells of your body. Aware of the Mother and her powers and their working. Should feel her. Not be feeling them immediately. When the psychic takes more and more, you are able to feel her presence. For although she can and does work in you, even in your obscurity, and in your unconscious parts and moments, it is not the same thing as when you are in an awakened and living communion with her. All your nature must be plastic to her touch. Not questioning the self-sufficient, ignorant mind questions, and doubts and disputes and the enemy of the enlightenment and change. Doubts and disputes are the enemy of enlightenment. The Shatru of enlightenment. Enemy of its enlightenment change. Not insisting on its own as the vital in man insists and persistently opposes its refractory desires and ill will and to every divine influence. Please do not do that. Don't resist. The unreserved surrender of your inner and outer being will bring the plasticity into all your parts and nature. You start surrendering more and more, spontaneously plasticity starts coming to you. Consciousness will awaken everywhere in you. Consciousness will awaken everywhere in you by constant openness to the wisdom and light, the force, the harmony and beauty, the perfection that comes flowing down from above. This is the result. This is a boon. Don't you think this is a boon? Harmony, beauty, force, perfection that come flowing down from above. I will conclude this with a small passage from Savitri. The Divine gives assurance to you. That she gives assurance to Savitri. My light shall be in thee, my strength thy force. Your force will be mother's force. Thy strength, my strength, thy force. Let not the impatient titan try thy heart. Don't be impatient. Let not the impatient titan try thy heart. Ask not the imperfect fruit, the partial price. Only one boon to greaten thy spirit demand. Only one joy to rise thy kind desire. Above the blind fate and the antagonist powers, moonless, there stands a high unchanging will. To its omnipotence, leave thy works result. All things shall change in God's transfiguring hour.